Welcome into Unemployed with Mike Schaefer. It is a Nebrasketball Tuesday. Nebraska takes on Purdue at 6 o'clock on FS1. We got Kevin Kugler, Bill Rafferty, just a tremendous broadcast crew. This is one of those rare times where getting to watch the game at home is going to be a great experience because you don't have to worry about Nick Stauskas or Paul Burmeister or, I don't know about FS1 and replays, but they can't be any worse than what Peacock was with it. So, it's going to be a great broadcast experience. And for those of you in the building, it's going to be fantastic as well. And for those of you watching and listening, this is going to be a great experience. Mike Sautter, welcome to a Nebrasketball Tuesday.
Yeah, it's thanks for having me. I appreciate it, Schaefer. How about Kevin Kugler's 2 days here? Like Indiana, Oregon, right, with Nick Baugh, and you have the Creighton tie and Nebraska tie and all that stuff with those two and with the head coaches in that game. That was last night. And then tonight he's with Bill Raftery calling Purdue and Nebraska. That's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it truly, this has to be one of like the better broadcast duos a Nebraska home basketball game has had. Like maybe they've been on the road in a good spot at like Michigan State or something, and they got somebody on a Saturday. But and that's not to take anything away from Nick Baugh, who I think does an excellent job at what he does. But usually, like the best crew you're going to get is Kugler and Baugh at some point. Mm-hmm. Or, if you really like one of the BTN guys. But this is like an outstanding broadcast crew. And it tells you that they're treating this like a big game, which they should. It is a monster game. There's a lot of different threads to pull on this game, Mike, and we're going to dive into some of them. But I think it kind of starts like this. I think that Nebraska has the ability to more or less end Purdue's real chance to be in the upper echelon of the conference this year if they don't win tonight. Like, I think that's what's at stake for Purdue. And for Nebraska, it's the opportunity to basically make sure that you are in the top 3, 4, and you don't let anybody else into that group. Like, that's basically what is at stake this evening. It's the opportunity to collect a quality win. Not that either team really needs it in terms of their trying to get to the tournament. If you're Nebraska, you want to try to maintain being a top 2-3 seed. If you're Purdue, that schedule, I'm sure you've looked at it. Like what they have coming up, that ain't easy.
No,
and they need a win in Lincoln. Like that might be a desperate Purdue team playing in Lincoln. And I don't know if that sentence been said in a long time.
Yeah, it is very much so Michigan's great. Like, I don't think anyone's really gonna touch them. I think Michigan's at this point is gonna win the regular season in the Big Ten. This is very much so a separator game, if you will, where Nebraska has the 2 losses, Illinois has the 2 losses. They split. Michigan State has 3, Purdue has 3. This is a huge game to be even like for the Big Ten tournament where you end up playing. Like, do you play Thursday your first game or Friday your first game? There's a lot here in that Big Ten race for, basically second right now. This is a monster game for that. Also, I noticed this morning, Nebraska for weeks has been like Ken Pom had them as like winning by 2. Well, for some reason today it moved up to them winning by 3. So little, like I was like, so a little bit there. I don't really look at what the spread is at all ever. And
1.5 for the degenerates.
Yeah, that's what I guess is be real short, right? Like, so it's a huge game, and the old saying, styles make fights. Both of these teams are pretty similar stylistically. If you look at all the analytical kind of data, it's really close. Outside of offensive rebounding, but we just kind of know. Yeah.
No, I mean they're similar in how they want to approach you. They're similar in what they can do well. The big difference is Nebraska has shot the ball well most of the year, and Purdue has kind of struggled sometimes from beyond the arc. And when you don't have that, it can make things a little bit difficult, even when you have guys that are really, really good players. And they do. I mean, it's you don't think about it in this sense right now because the season has kind of played out the way that it has, but this was like a team with national championship aspirations.
Very much so.
Right now, we're talking about if Nebraska wins this game, it's their 5th loss, Mike. So this is a big, big deal for Purdue.
Yeah, and their 4th Big Ten loss after losing 3 in a row. So, and then they, obviously had a get right game against Maryland. I feel like everyone has that when they play Maryland or Penn State.
Not Minnesota.
Which is, coming up for Nebraska. And then Oregon gave them a scare, like a major scare at Mackey, which is something that, I didn't expect, I guess, from this Oregon bunch. I actually turned the game on and watched the end of it. I mean, Oregon had a lead with under 2 minutes left at Mackey against Purdue. So yes, Purdue has good pieces, great pieces. Braden Smith's fantastic. Fletcher Lawyer has kind of found it a little bit here after not shooting it well. And then Oscar Clough is a guy that was at South Dakota State last year, and he's big and strong. They have a 7-foot dude backing him up at center, and Trey Kaufman-Wren is great, or can be great, I guess. So yeah, they're a very old group. Very experienced group, and it's one that this game is pretty big time. I mean, it's one you circled kind of on the calendar when the season started or before the season when the schedules came out. You looked at it like, okay, that one's at home. All right, like Nebraska can probably get this one done. It's going to be close because they're really good, but it's something that is pretty good. The environment should be pretty fun, I would say, tonight.
What did Fred have to say at the press conference on Monday? I mean, he's not the Fred Hoiberg press conferences before games are usually there's just not a lot that comes out of them. Right. And I assume that was the case again yesterday, but kind of where's he at? Where's the team at?
Yeah, he heaped a lot of praise on Braden Smith, rightfully so. I mean, dude's, leading second in the country in assists. He said he's the best pocket passer he's ever seen, which is
pretty high praise.
Yeah, for a guy that's
watched a lot of basketball.
yeah, played against Kobe Bryants of the world and stuff. That's a pretty high praise. So obviously he's a great player, Smith is, but said that and it's now it's kind of the cliche thing this year with, hey, we're going to have hand activity is important. He's saying that. And I appreciate very good defense. So that's just something I enjoy watching. And him saying, they're going to have to try and create some turnovers and they're going to have to win the turnover battle. In my game preview thing, that was my biggest key is which team can win the turnover battle, create turnovers, and get points off of those, finish those possessions too. And, finishing possessions with the rebound is going to be important. I guess I said like, hey, if Nebraska just doesn't get crushed on the boards, they'll be fine. Like get out rebounded by 12. That's okay. Because this team can shoot it so well that it doesn't really matter. So anything maybe more than that, no, you're kind of like a little bit, but
you don't want to find out, basically.
Yeah, you don't really want to find that out. But Fred was very complimentary of Coach Painter, the defensive sets they run, and switch defenses. They run multiple things, so they'll have to adjust. He said they'll have to adjust probably early to what Purdue comes out in defensively. And then for Nebraska defensively, it's just be solid. Like that's basically what he said is we're just going to have to be us. And that's been very much so good enough all season long.
So I'm curious if this is something you've noticed, because it's hard for me not to kind of miss it the way that games have sort of started for Nebraska. And not every game, but a lot of games have kind of started this way. They start fast. Like, Nebraska jumps on teams right at the beginning of almost every game. And there's a lot of things we're not accustomed to seeing with Nebraska basketball, and we're talking about a 21-2 season.
Mhm.
But a large part of it is the way that they start game. Like, you've covered this team long enough and you've watched Nebraska basketball long enough to be very familiar with, like, the amount of times that you could be at the under 16 and they'd have 4 points.
Right.
And, there's been times where it's been less than 4 points. We don't have to dwell on those. But you know what I'm talking about? Like, there's times where they're at 10 points and there's 17 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah.
Because they're just hitting shots and they're in rhythm. Like, is there something inherent to the way that they play? Or is it just like there's so much confidence that as soon as that ball is tipped and it's game time, like, these guys are just letting it fly and have absolutely no concern or no fear of failure, I guess. Like, they're truly, one of the things that really stands out about them is that they never seem flustered.
Mhm.
Even when things weren't great at Michigan and Illinois, their legs were tired, certainly against Michigan. Illinois was maybe the most flustered they've been. And they just seem to, like, attack with a flurry that is so unconventional compared to Nebraska basketball history.
Yeah, I would say one is clearly an area of focus. Fred has talked about it in every single press conference. We got to start fast, got to get off to a good start. Like, it always says those things. So it's clearly a focus. I also think that it's important for them because then their defense can kind of just settle in and take a little more chances, right? With that deflection number that they like to hit, which, by the way, if you didn't know this, their deflection goal every game is 25. So I don't think that hasn't, been said publicly, but I know just from talking to people that it is 25. They would like 25 deflections per game. So
are you tracking that ever? Are you writing down on your notes or in a piece of paper?
I'm going to try tonight because I'm not sure there's going to be a lot.
Yeah, 25 seems high.
Yeah, but they hit it. Like, they hit it quite often. So it would be great if that was like a, secondary box score thing that you could track.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's
Seamus, you can't get Seamus to get this done?
I don't think Seamus would do that. I do think that, if you pay the thousands of dollars for analytic tools, you can probably find it. I don't. So yeah. It is one thing that I'm sure you could probably find out there that is sort of public, semi-public. But the get off to a fast start is a thing. And I think Price Sanford's shooting ability has been, a reason for that. And, I'm sure we'll talk about Sam Hoiberg, but the whole glue guy thing, can we really move on from that?
No.
He is a glue guy, 100%. But he's also not just being a pest defensively and just scoring 2 points a game and getting 3 rebounds. And, he's shooting at a very high clip, scoring a lot. For example,
aggressive to the hole.
Yes. For last year, you watched Nebraska basketball last year. Sam Hoiberg was left wide open all the time. And when he'd shoot a 3, you'd be like, oh, maybe. Now when he shoots it, you're like, oh, yeah. You have full confidence it's going in.
Now when he shoots it, Frager's running back down the court with his hands up in the air because he knows it's good.
Yeah, stuff like that. And also, when Sam would get to the rim, you would be a little nervous that he'd just blow a layup, right? Or try an up and under or something, and it would just kind of go wherever. This year, you have full confidence that it's going in. So, yes, he's a glue guy for sure. But I think Cale Jacobson's more of the glue guy, from a, air quotes, stereotypical type of player than Sam is. Sam's a way bigger piece than just a glue guy.
You think Sam passed the glue baton to Cale?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. Because Kale is that guy that, like, had 7 deflections last game against Rutgers, was a guy that Fred Hoiberg praised twice after Rutgers and yesterday in availability about his deflections and the little things and stuff like that. Because Kale doesn't score more than, maybe 5 points a game, but he does. He's super smart. He can get Nebraska in the pace they want on offense. He can rebound. He can battle for rebounds. He can give you 5 fouls if you need. Like, he can do all those little things. That is more of a glue guy to me than what Sam Hoiberg is.
I think that's fair. The other thing about the way that Nebraska starts fast is I think they often do the opposite of what teams expect sometimes.
Right.
Because they'll catch them early. Teams are maybe waiting for the 3 to come out right away, and instead Nebraska's going backdoor cut, or they're working it around, or Sanford or Lawrence is coming into it for a mid-range. I think they're very good at making teams feel crazy because they try to stop one thing and then Nebraska goes and does something else. And so then they have to stop that. And then Nebraska will go and make, 14 3-pointers or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is really kind of fascinating to how pretty the offense that Fred Hoiberg has when it's just, you have guys that are just dangerous as shooters. When you know that if you leave Frager in the corner, and I love watching their inbound sets right now. They did this to Illinois over and over, and they'll do it to Purdue tonight. They will lose Frager off of the inbounds under the basket, and he will hide in the corner. They'll work the ball around, and he will have an open 3 at some point tonight. Mm-hmm. Even if they know that's coming, it still happens. Yeah. And it's remarkable. Like, they're very, very good, and they're very efficient, and they're very precise. And I just think what we're watching, beyond just the results, like the aesthetic nature of what we're watching, is pretty damn cool.
Yeah, and that's something that Fred even said after Illinois, like, hey, our offense is aesthetically pleasing. It's fun to watch, and it is. The one play, and I went back and watched it, I probably watched it 8 to 10 times, is Price Sanford's first 3 against Rutgers. The amount of screens, back screen, whatever description you want to call it, curls, movement, everything on that one possession was amazing. Like, there was like double screens at the high post that got him open and tried to get him open. And he was just moving around everywhere. It was a beautiful, basketball purist, not, if you like watching actual, basketball that's not just get up and down and dunk it all the time. It was amazing. And they've done that. They do that all the time because this team's built that way. Let's face it. Like, this team's built that way. If they get one dunk a game, it's a thing, right? Like,
well, and they're not just stationary. They're not just going to clear out for an ISO. There's just a lot that, and then how they play off of it. Or if a team decides to try to take away the 3, you step inside and can knock down, the long range jumper too. Look, there's just elements of this basketball team that has the very throwback nature of it, which comes with its own connotations. But it also shows you that in 2025, 2026, you can build a really good basketball team without having to play above the rim. And I think that sort of flies in the face of how some people view college basketball now.
Yeah, I mean, you look at, I don't know, everyone in the SEC is just high ball screen. Your point guard goes, makes a decision, whatever that may be, and you're just defending the high ball screen or whatever. Well, I don't think the Big Ten is quite like that right now, especially Nebraska. And so that will be kind of an interesting thing to watch as the NCAA tournament comes. So that'll be a lot of fun. I think that'll be fun to watch that and see those different matchups. But you're right. I mean, they just move the ball so well. Like, really pay attention, right? Like, if you're watching the game at home or watching, in the arena tonight or at your local sports bar or something, really kind of watch both teams' offense tonight because they're both really good. Like, Purdue has the 3rd highest offensive efficiency rate, adjusted offensive efficiency rate in the nation. That means they don't turn it over very well, and very much, and they get offensive rebounds. They don't, they shoot the ball well, all those things. So, and Nebraska's defense is very good. So like that matchup inside the matchup is pretty cool. But the movement, you're right. And one of those players like Jamarcus Lawrence has been fantastic as
I want to talk more about him.
As the not point guard. There isn't a point guard, traditionally on this team. It is the primary ball handler or lead an offensive initiator. Like that's probably more what it's called. It's like the offensive initiator. And that can be Rink Mast. That can be Sam Hoiberg. That can be Jamarcus Lawrence. Price can kind of do that, but they'd rather him just moving around. Frager is that same way. Like Berke, obviously not that. But like Jamarcus has done a great job of getting this team into pace. And it's not, I guess I wrote about it after a game this year. It's smart pace. And that's something Coach Hoiberg has said. Smart pace is different than pace. When you think of pace, it's like slow or fast. No, smart pace is like, we're going to get the ball up the floor, but then we're going to run a set. We're going to take 15, 20 seconds off a shot clock. But we want to get up the floor because we want to initiate that offense. So that's more of a smart pace, right? Like know when to push and pull. It doesn't have to be just go, go, go all the time when you think of, basketball pace. So it's been really good. And Rink, obviously, his return has been they're not in this position without him, clearly. Right. Just what he's able to do from an offensive standpoint, passing the ball, he setting screens, like that guy is got to be one of the strongest basketball players physically that there is in the country. I mean, like if you shake his hand, like if you shake someone's hand, you kind of pat him on the shoulder. Yeah, that dude is solid. Like he's huge. He's like just a rock. And so him setting a screen, like if you notice he set screens, no one really moves him.
Yeah.
Like no, you can't, like if you're trying to go over the ball screen and you want a little rub off of the screener, you're not moving him. Like normally sometimes the leg gets kicked out or something. No, not him. So the offense has been awesome. It's super fun. And it's a lot of fun to watch all of the movement, just kind of watch a couple possessions tonight and just kind of see the movement offensively and how people just moving around. Don't just like, what I mean by that is don't just look at where the ball is the whole time. Kind of watch the whole picture and see all the different movement.
I want to, you mentioned Jamarcus Lawrence. I want to bring him up because I think somehow in a year in which we've talked about everybody, and we've talked about Jamarcus too, and he's hit the big shots against, Illinois and Ohio State, and he's had big moments in critical situations throughout the season. I don't think we've discussed enough how he sort of built himself into this player, because he wasn't this version when he left, and he went to Rhode Island and had to but played in the A-10 and I kind of grew up and learned and came back to Nebraska, and clearly the best decision for all parties. But the way that he has sort of tackled things from a leadership, from a, someone's got to do it, and I'm that someone, which on a team where they have lots of someones, like there's nobody in their top 6 that is afraid to shoot a basketball if they have to do it in a critical moment. Maybe the closest would be Sam. The guy you least want to do it is Berke, but he's never been afraid to shoot a basketball in his life.
No.
So, there's a different discussion there. But like what I mean by this is I feel like Jamarcus wants that moment. He wants that pressure, and he's shown time and time again very, very comfortable in that situation. I remember watching him a few years ago. They had that game against Iowa that Nebraska ended up winning. It helped their chances to, I think it was his freshman year. help their chances to finish. They're trying to get into the NIT and finish over 500. And he has this like great game out at Iowa, and you're just like, man, this guy can absolutely play at a high level. And he has kind of an uneven sophomore year. You don't know what to make of it. He's kind of lost in the shuffle of a really good team, and you don't think about him as much. And then here he's sort of lost in the shuffle, but it's because everything he does just feels like it's so on point that it's almost like, well, yeah, it's Jamarcus. He's going to do that. Of course he's going to have. He had an uncharacteristic, terrible pass against Rutgers. And I like audibly gasped because I can't think of it. There's maybe been like one or two of those all season. And he got caught trying to go cross court at a dumb time. They're already up by 14. Didn't matter. But, I've been super, super impressed by the evolution of him. We've talked a lot about it with Hoiberg, and we've talked about like what they've gotten out of these other guys. I almost think somehow Jamarcus Lawrence is under-discussed. Is that possible?
Yeah, that's 100% possible, because I think it's I think you look at Price Sanford, he's the leading scorer on the team. You look at what Sam's doing from an assist to turnover ratio, and all the national, he's up at the top of the charts in that. And there's a lot of conversation, obviously, about Braden Frager and freshman of the year or sixth man of the year talk. So it does kind of get lost. And then you have Rank, obviously, getting kind of lost behind him too. Jamarcus has been the absolute key, without a question, to this team's success because of the stability he provides and the maturity he provides. When I say that, I mean, we're talking about the pace and smart pace stuff on offense. He's long enough to defend people. He's smart enough to kind of run the offense, if you will, initiate the offense. He's also smart enough to know the defensive system. And here's one thing I don't think it's been talked about publicly, but Jamarcus, like after the season last year, it was Peyton Borders who actually reached out to Jamarcus's people, if you will, and said, "Hey, we messed up. What can we get you back? What will it take to get you back?" And so that was, when he hit the portal and stuff. So it was a credit to Nebraska assistant Peyton for kind of making that first initial that call, if you will. And here's a stat, right? So we talk about Sam Hoiberg's assist rate and how great it is and all that stuff. Sam's assist rate is 23.3. That is 282nd in the country, which is pretty good. Jamarcus's assist rate is 23.9, which is 256. So it's a little better. Now he turns it over more because he has the ball in his hands more. So that's why the assist to turnover ratio. But Jamarcus is assisting at a higher rate than Sam is. So getting him back has been massive for this team. And there were a lot of people that, like, when he left, or I guess 2 years ago, was like, "Oh, he can't play point guard. He's not good enough," and all that stuff. Well, like, take the traditional point guard out of your brain. That's not what Nebraska does. Traditional point guard nowadays is, high ball screen, get to the rack, stuff like that. Jamarcus is capable of that stuff, but that's not what he's been asked to do. And that's okay. Like, because he's doing what he's been asked to do at a pretty high level. There have been a few like ebbs and flows here too with him, where they can take him out and put Kale in, and it's okay. Like, and Kale can kind of get the pace going to where it needs to be, and then Jamarcus can kind of see it and be like, okay, and then come back in and do fine. So, and not to mention, like, Jamarcus Lawrence is a fantastic person. So he's easy to root for. He's a great person. I was going to call him kid. He's not a kid, but he's a great person. And I guess I root for people like that, that are just, I will tell you one thing that he does every single game. If there's, people that are on the beat, that, obviously they, recognize faces and stuff. Every single game, pregame, if you're out there, Jamarcus will come by and say hello, or how you doing, hi, whatever. Every single person. That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like he always has a big smile on his face. He's not, overly intense and stuff. So in the pregame stuff. But I do think that means a lot if he's kind of taken a couple seconds to just say, hey, how you guys doing? Or how y'all doing? Because normally it's, clustered up and stuff. So he's just making it a point to say hello.
Yeah, and I think from what I understand, just from Brian Christopherson mentioned this, and I think it's been discussed either by Jamarcus himself in big interviews, or even maybe Fred said it. I think he genuinely leaving the Big Ten, leaving Nebraska, and going somewhere else. You realize like it's unique. It really is. I mean, you get thousands and thousands of people that were showing up for a program that wasn't that good. And he got to experience the highs of beating the number one team in Purdue and playing with that team that went to the tournament, a couple years ago. And he'd been around it enough to know like it's not like that everywhere. And you could have a successful team, then you maybe don't have that fan support. I do think that's one of those things that, like, if Nebraska is able to bottle the season up and transport it into future years, one of the things it really has going for it is it's a unique environment and a place where people seem to, I don't even know if I'd say appreciate basketball, because I think basketball is appreciated everywhere, but it really matters. Like it matters that this is a huge game tonight to a lot of people in a way that maybe other places take for granted because they've been a basketball program for so long that has had notoriety. And here it's still very much in the infancy of like, oh man, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. The give a F meter is very high right now with Nebraska fans. Yeah. It's very high. So, which is great because they're going to make the NCAA tournament. Even if they lost every game, every remaining game, they're going to make the NCAA tournament, right? Like that's not going to happen. But even if they did, they're still going to make the NCAA tournament, which is awesome because, it's fun. Like covering that stuff for me is fun, and it's great for fans. So it's just, it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out, with Big Ten tournaments in Chicago, wherever the NCAA tournament, is for Nebraska, and how many fans show up to that. I know, being in Memphis 2 years ago, there was a lot of Nebraska fans there. There was a lot. And this team is probably going to bring a little more.
Yeah.
Like,
especially if they go down to Mike Sautter territory in Oklahoma City,
Yeah.
I know you're more Tulsa though, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Tulsa, which is fine. Oklahoma City's great. It's nice. It's fine. I've been there before, so if I'm making a trip for work, I'd rather go somewhere I've never been. Okay. So
we'll put a pin in that. We'll get back to that when we. I might have told you the wrong city that we're talking about today. We're going to be discussing a different one. If you had notes for one in particular, I screwed up with that. But before we get there, we're going to do a blind rankings. I don't know if you've been following this at all on this podcast or familiar with the blind rankings concept. You're going to get a topic. You're going to get 5 possible answers. You got to rank them 1 through 5 without knowing what comes next. Your top, and I thought about going a variety of ways here. I thought about having you break down some of these guys as they were for high school basketball players,
could do that.
Things of that nature. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. We're gonna keep it simple. And it doesn't get a whole lot simpler than this. You are gonna rank them logos of these basketball only or non-football playing colleges. So none of these teams, I think you can kind of figure out the common denominator here, but none of them have a football team attached to them. And we will start with Providence and the classic Friar.
So I just rank 1 through 5.
Yep.
Providence, the mascot itself in person, creepy, really weird. The logo though,
it's the logo, not the mascot.
I'll give the logo like a 3.5.
Okay, but you're placing it 1 through 5.
Oh, placing it. Okay, keep
1
going.
being the best, 2 being
I don't want to lose it, so I'm gonna write it down. All right, Providence, got it. And then I'm gonna give it probably a 2.
So you're putting Providence at 2?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a 3. Switch that 3 because I think there's some
Okay.
better ones probably hopefully coming.
This is where Woj is at, St. Bonaventure.
Oh man, mascot's fantastic.
The Bonnies. You got
Yeah,
the dog looking all fierce, and it's brown and white with a little bit of gray in there. Kind of a unique
yeah.
logo. You don't see a
I'm gonna
lot of it.
I'm gonna put it behind Providence at 4.
Okay. You got a lot of faith in what I'm about to
I'm,
throw at you.
I'm very hopeful here.
Well, hopeful might describe this basketball program, and I include them because it was one of the games that I went to several times. They would come to Lincoln and get waxed, and that is Chicago State. Are you
Wow.
familiar with their logo? It's changed a little bit since
Yeah, I mean it's green and
like the
white.
2000s. Yeah. It is an ugly green. Like it is not. It got worse. I'm not gonna lie to you.
One of my
It
brother's
did get
really
worse.
good friends actually was the head coach there, the most recent one. So
Man, that is a tough job.
really tough. It's like one of the hardest in the country. I'm gonna go 5 because it's not great. And now I'm just crossing my fingers.
Okay, so you got 1 and 2 left. You put Providence at 3, St.
Yeah.
Bonaventure at 4. You have Chicago State at 5. What about the Dirtbags, Long Beach State?
Okay. Now I've screwed myself. We got to go 2 because hopefully this next one's better.
You not digging the script LB?
Yeah, I mean it's cool. I actually growing up as a kid, I had that. I had my hat.
You had the white white hat.
Everybody, yeah, like basically everyone did, right? So I'm gonna go them at 2 because I don't have anywhere else to put them.
Man, so I'm looking at this Long Beach State from 1961 to 1984 had like an actual person 49ers with a pickaxe and everything.
That would have been cooler.
They had better logos before they switched to this LB look. I'm not going to lie to you. Even the retro 49ers with the Long Beach underneath, pretty good look for them.
Yeah, true story about Long Beach State. When Dan Munson was the coach there, right? Remember him? They were good. They were like really good. So they played at KU on like a Tuesday night. First time I ever went to Allen Fieldhouse. This was 2007, 8-ish. First time I ever, and the only time since that I've been to Allen Fieldhouse was that night, and I sat directly, like right behind our. We got to sit, I guess, for a little bit right behind the Long Beach bench because I knew my brother had a player that at the junior college he was coaching that went to Long Beach State, so he hooked me up with tickets. So yeah,
very nice. Yeah. Did Long Beach? Did they stay close? 2007 Kansas seems like they'd have been really good.
Not really, no.
Yeah, that's a tough one. All right, so you have Long Beach State at 2, you have Providence at 3, you have St. Bonaventure at 4, and you have Chicago State at 5. You get to finish things off the St. Louis Billikens.
That's fine. That can be my number 1. Yeah.
That thing is terrifying looking.
Yeah, it's like a what is that? There's like my kids show, one of these shows that has like a thing that looks like that guy.
Okay.
Like with the horns and stuff. I forget. Or no, Hotel Transylvania, I think is like a cartoon thing that my kids watch around. Yeah, whatever that is around like Halloween, they watched it, and they have one of the characters, and that is looks like that guy. So.
I like to imagine now that the St. Louis Billiken is hanging out in Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah, it's like
randomly makes an appearance in the movie.
It's like an animated Netflixy thing. Whatever, my kids, I don't know. So, also shout out to Coach Putz. He's an assistant coach at St. Louis. He was at Wayne State College as a GA once. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Moving up in the world.
Remember Ryan Hawkins? I know this is.
I do remember Ryan Hawkins.
Yeah, yes. Ryan Hawkins. So Ryan Hawkins transferred from Northwest Missouri State to Creighton, right?
Yep.
Ryan Hawkins was originally signed and committed to Wayne State because Brett Putz got him signed and committed. The fortunes of Wayne State would have changed a lot if Ryan Hawkins would have been there, Wayne State basketball.
And then an old Wayne State coach in McDermott just comes by and snags Ryan Hawkins away. He was begrudgingly very good for Creighton.
Yeah, he was good for them. So anyway, that's a Ryan Hawkins story. Harlan, Iowa guy, or Atlantic, sorry. Yeah.
The amount of stuff you just randomly have in your brain that can just be pulled out at any time, it's scary. I mean, it's interesting, but it's scary because I just don't know where we could end up.
I saw Ryan Hawkins more than a handful of times in the summer playing, like in like June or whatever, playing for.
Have you seen Colin Rice play?
Yeah, oh yeah. So I saw him play at the Creighton team camp. They were there. So I saw all 5 games of him playing there. And then I went to Kansas City there's a June Scholastic live period thing. So I watched 3 other games there. And then I just saw him on Martin Luther King Day in Council Bluffs. So I've watched him play 9 games with his high school team in his career.
Yeah. So Colin Rice, for those that maybe don't know, is a signee with Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
They're the top guy in their high school group that they brought in there.
Yeah, right? Or Lanier might be a little bit. They're close.
Really?
Yeah, I think they're close if you look at the national.
Okay, well, give us an assessment of Colin Rice's game.
Because yeah, he's a great passer.
A lot of people are excited about him.
Yeah, he's a great passer. He is a straight bucket. Like in the game that they played Millard North, he had 17 straight of his team's points. Yeah, that's a lot in the third quarter, start of the fourth quarter. Good kid, hard worker. No, the character issue thing, that's not an issue at all. Can really get to a spot and make a shot. And he's 6'7", and can elevate over the top of people. Millard North actually like put a smaller guy on him, tried to like body him a little bit to get under him. Nope, didn't matter. Good free throw shooter, all of those things. Needs to just put on some weight if he's going to be able to play early. He needs to kind of put on, some weight, which, maybe he can or can't do, when he gets on campus in June. But the future looks very good for him. He's a true 3-level scorer. That term gets a 3-level scorer gets used a lot, but Colin Rice is a 3-level scorer for sure. Rebounds well for his position, long enough defensively. Think of him, I hate to do this, but like Price Stanford-esque.
That's a comparison everyone's made. He's family friends with the Stanfords. Like that's just kind of been that's
family friends.
That's what they say. I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, let's go with that. His girlfriend may or may not have the same last name as Price, and so
yeah, it's just family friends.
Yeah, family friends.
There might be another word that goes in there.
That's fine. No, that's
friend-in-law. Would you rather friend-in-law?
Yeah, I mean, sure.
That seems premature.
Yeah, a little premature. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Can you give us a breakdown on Jacob Lanier? Have you seen him?
I haven't seen him. I've just seen a lot of highlights. I haven't seen him in person, but he looks super explosive and athletic, like a guy that hasn't really fit that profile recently. So probably from just what I've seen, probably more of like your traditional Big Ten wing that is like, strong, athletic, downhill kind of power kind of guy. So yeah, I haven't seen him though, like in person. So I don't want to overstep.
All right. Well, we don't want you to do that either. So what we do here, we go through all of the sites that Nebraska could end up, and we started with Buffalo. We go alphabetically. We had just done Portland, and for some reason, I had told you it was going to be St. Louis. It's not. It's going to be San Diego. A becomes, I guess if you were to spell out St. Louis would work here, but I'm not going to. I'm going to reverse course. We're going to discuss San Diego. We'll start with this. Have you ever been to San Diego?
I've never been to San Diego. I've been to LA.
But this one ranks fairly high for you, I would imagine.
This is my number one. Yeah. This would be my number one. I've never been to San Diego. I have been to LA and LA area, whatever that is. All those places there. And I have been to San Francisco, but I have never been to San Diego. And I hear it's beautiful this time of year.
I have never heard anyone say a bad thing about San Diego. It's kind of universally lauded for its weather, the vibe, all of it. And Nebraska could be playing there, though I don't think it's particularly likely. If they do, they play on a Friday and a Sunday. Round trip right now, Mike Sautter, if you're like, hey, I'm just going to bank on this being in San Diego, you could get flights Wednesday through Monday. Because the Sunday back flight would be difficult, and that's going to be one of the late games. I promise that will be one of the late games, so that's going to be a problem. $276 on Delta to be the economy flight. You might have to pay a little bit more to guarantee your bags get to come along with you, but that is a relatively cheap flight right now for the dates that you would need, relative to if you wanted to, fly elsewhere on the West Coast to Portland.
That's round trip.
That's round trip.
Wow, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's not if you wanted something besides Delta, they have several right now that are very cheap, surprisingly. Portland is almost triple that cost for just a flight. However, the Portland hotel is very cheap. The San Diego hotel, and San Diego is unique. The games are going to be played at San Diego State. So it's not it's a little bit different of a setup than what you would get at some of these other places where you have like the downtown public arena. And so it's San Diego is going to be different in terms of how you would try to book everything. So you could definitely get hotels. This seems like it'd be a more expensive trip, but compared to the Buffaloes and the Greenvilles and Portland, might actually be more of an affordable one. For now, as soon as it gets announced as a site and everybody's starting to buy their stuff, that could be difficult. But since Nebraska is going to Oklahoma City anyways, it probably won't matter. So what do you know? Like, what do you just know about San Diego in general?
Not a lot. So San Diego, to me, I look at San Diego and I think clean, quiet, casual, just chill vibes, if you will.
Well, if you're looking for things between the games, you can go to the Gas Lamp area, the Gas Lamp Quarter, I believe. Bars, patios, and endless people watching. It's kind of like a boardwalk area.
Oh,
La
nice.
Jolla, with the coastal views and the sea lions. I believe that's kind of like the island that's just off of San Diego there. And you got Balboa Park, Beach Walk, ChatGPT filling me in on things you have here. Obviously, the food is going to be pretty good. You can get a lot of seafood if you're a seafood guy. Are you a seafood guy?
Yeah, I love shrimp, actually.
Okay. I don't know why. I was suddenly just assuming you just didn't eat seafood at all.
Yeah,
I understand if your take, because I fall in this. I struggle with it in the middle of the country, but if I'm on a coast, if there's water nearby, I will more than happily partake in fresh seafood.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with seafood at all. Actually, I don't mind sushi. I know this is very odd for people that know me, my 12-year-old palate.
A lot of turkey sandwiches.
Yeah, a lot of that. But seafood I'm more than fine with seafood. Yes.
Weather you already kind of mentioned, high 60s, low 70s, man. Which is kind of what
it's like Omaha right now.
I was gonna say it's pretty similar to what we have going on. If we could just keep the wind under 20 miles an hour out here, that'd be ideal. Perhaps I should live somewhere where there's more blockage than just completely wide open spaces as it is right now.
Well, once your new neighborhood gets developed a little more, you'll be fine.
They can take their time with that. I'm okay with it.
I'm talking about the trees get older and stuff. You'll be all right.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about right behind my house. There's a literal development that hasn't started yet. That will, and they can take their time. They don't need to. I still need to be able to hit my golf balls into the cornfield behind the house.
Do you go pick them up after?
I haven't done it much. It's just been a few times so far. So no, I haven't. I suppose I probably should. That's not very neighborly of me. Let's finish up with this, Mike. We look every Tuesday at the bracketology, and we give a score prediction immediately for where Joe Lunardi has Nebraska. He's been pretty bullish on Nebraska and Oklahoma City. They're back to a 2 seed after they fell all the way to a 3 for the audacity of losing to Michigan and Illinois. And they are now back to a 2. They play a school that I have never heard of in his bracketology here. Are you familiar with Merrimack College?
Yeah, Merrimack. Merrimack. I saw them play this year, actually, Merrimack. I saw Merrimack in the opening day tip-off thing at the Pentagon in Sioux Falls. They played who they play? Murray State or Drake? I can't remember which one.
Why was Merrimack playing Murray State in Sioux Falls?
I don't know. That's how they set it up, but I watched them. They actually play really fast, athletic, turn it over a bunch. So yeah. Or turn you over a bunch. They probably turn it over a bunch too, but yeah.
Interesting. Well, that
Yeah,
would be
I watched them. Their very first game of the year.
that would be an interesting matchup for Nebraska. So Merrimack College transitioned from D2 in the 23-24 season. They're part of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
The MAAC.
And yeah. I know very little about them, but doesn't matter. Give me your score. Nebraska.
They played South Dakota State, and South Dakota State won 75-66. My score would be 82-61.
Okay, 21-point win for Nebraska.
They're not very good, bro. Like they're not.
They're the representative of that conference. They must be at least adequate.
Florida beat them 80-45, but that was November 21st.
Yeah. Look, if Nebraska wins their first tournament game 80-45, the last 15 minutes of that game is just going to be everyone sitting around waiting to finally get to like celebrate it. And that's not a bad thing either.
Can you imagine?
You were there. I mean, you were there for Memphis. You know what the feeling and the buzz was. You remember the first probably 10 minutes
of
the basketball game where it was like, is K-State going to go for 40 tonight?
Yeah.
And then the rest of the game played out the way that it did.
It was crazy. And, Oklahoma City being drivable and St. Louis is drivable as well. So maybe that's probably where Nebraska is going to end up being. Going to be a lot of people there. So like Bricktown, is that still a thing in Oklahoma City?
Yeah.
Okay. That place could get nuts.
Yeah, no, I would expect Bricktown to get nuts. That's kind of why I want this all to happen. It's going to be just a. I mean,
there was a takeover of Beale Street. Like there was a lot of red on Beale Street in Memphis. Yep. This could be even more so of a thing. So yeah, Merrimack. Not great. Not real great. Yeah.
Nebraska versus Merrimack.
I guess the one thing Merrimack does not do is give up steals. Okay. So there you go. They also don't shoot the ball well at all.
See, that seems like it would play into Nebraska's advantage a little bit there.
Yeah. So yeah. Thanks for now. I did some pre-work on the matchup.
You should have just a file on your computer that's just teams Nebraska could play and just have like a little sentence or two in there. So whenever you get asked about it, you can just push out every other piece of information in your brain and then you can go to that.
Yeah. I just have it and I'm like, oh yeah, Merrimack or whatever, random
Portland State,
any NEAC school or whatever that is. Be one of those. At least, listen, at least as it sits right now, Nebraska will be, I think, at minimum a 4 at a minimum 4 seed.
I think things would have to go kind of poorly in the last 8 games for them.
Right, which I don't anticipate that, right? Like, do I think they're going to win every game left on their schedule? No.
Do you think they win tonight?
Close, yes.
Yeah, I think they do too. I think it's on the strength of being at home. And I'm going to say Sanford hits a critical 3-pointer to put Nebraska up like 4, and then they hang on.
Yeah, with like a minute.
81-77. Give me that.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be some points. Like I don't anticipate it being a blowout or anything. I do think they win tonight, and it'll be 81-77-ish, like right around the 80 mark. For kind of both teams. I do have one thing before we go, though. Can I grab something real quick?
Sure.
This is fantastic. So the last time Nebraska hosted Purdue, remember that day? It was
number 1 Purdue.
Yeah, it was January 9th, 2024. And I still have the box score.
Look at that. From when Nebraska knocked off number 1 Purdue in a game that was not even close in the final 10 minutes.
I actually have the halftime box score too.
Wow. What was the score at halftime?
The score at halftime was Nebraska 41-30. They killed them. Remember that?
What did Jamarcus do in the first half in that game?
Jamarcus Lawrence in the first half had 0 points.
Will he go over 0 points tonight?
He had
in the first half.
He had 0 points in the whole game. Then yes.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. The leading scorer of that game, Keisei Tominaga, 19. Rink had 18 and 4 rebounds and was 2 of 5 from 3.
The thing that Rink did in that game that remains impressive to this day. Yeah, he shut down the best post player in the country.
Zach Edey had 15 and 7 that night, 6 of 10, 3 fouls. He drew 7 fouls though too. So.
Yeah, but I mean, he still got his 15 points or whatever. But
it was
relative to what he was doing to other teams at that time, it was an impressive performance.
That's also one thing to look out for tonight. Ring mass. Purdue kind of struggles defending the perimeter with their bigs. So Rink's
it'd be a big Rink game.
Rink's ability to shoot the 3, if he can make 1 or 2 early, that could change a lot. Maybe Purdue just doesn't play one of their 2 bigs and they put Trey Kaufman-Wren at the 5 and or figure something else out there. That's something to really kind of watch out for, especially that all of the, like I said, initiator of offense stuff with Rink as a ball handler. When I say ball handler, I mean dribble handoffs and stuff like that, not actually dribbling the ball. But that's something to really pay attention to too, I think, tonight. I should probably frame these.
It would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, they're already discolored a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I can kind of tell through the camera that there's a little yellowish going on there.
Yeah, see, it's like got a little. Yeah, that's all right. I should probably do that. I got my notes.
Basketball Tuesday with prop.
I got my notes even on here. Court storm! ! Was the first thing.
Wow.
Yeah. First win against the AP number 1 team since February 2nd, 1982. First win over a number 1 team in Lincoln since December 12th, 1964 was that game.
And wasn't it Hoiberg's grandpa that was the coach?
Yeah. Yeah.
It all comes back together. It all comes back together, and we will come back on Wednesday. Well, I will come back. I don't know what Mike Sautter is doing.
I might not ever.
He's going to do whatever he's doing on Wednesday. I will be back on Wednesday with Josh Peterson. We'll dive into college football and what is going on in the offseason with the sport at large. And I'm sure, I'll let him wax poetically about Bill Moose's writing skills maybe tomorrow. I'm sure people were hoping for some more Bill Moose stories. I've got my fill of them. I don't know that I need more, but we'll see what the appetite is on Wednesday for that. Mike, thank you so much for joining here on a Nebrasketball Tuesday. We'll get you on again before the season is over.
Hey, you know what? Anytime. Well, I'm here for you.
Thank you.
I've got nothing else going on. I'm here for you.
Thank you. I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad somebody is. All right, everybody. Appreciate your time again today. We'll see you tomorrow.